That is so amazing. And I'm just as amazed as when I first saw it. And I just wondered if you could tell people. I don't, it's like being alive in a Persian painting. And it's both ancient story and brand new technology. So so tell us, how did you come up with such a crazy, fantastic, extraordinary idea?
First, I would like to ask, thank you guys for giving the opportunity. And also, you should know all this work is also effort of the my crew. It's not just me. It's these poor actors and puppeteers also. We should thank them. They did a marvelous job. But before we start getting to Feathers of Fire, I would like to tell the audience that this show is a result of almost 10 years before that creating different art form based on the stories from the Persian Book of Kings or Shahnameh, which I would like to actually share with you a very short presentation. And now also we're getting to Feathers of Fire, and I want to show you some of the backstage, that how actually now when you watch it, you basically sitting on the audience point of view. I want to show you how it's going to look like from the actor's point of view, which is really fun. It's like a totally different show. So let me share my screen with you and start from there. If
Great.
I can open, I'm trying to share advanced options. Oh, here we go. And I think it's this one. Yes. All right. So let's start from here. In 2008, end of 2008, or sort of, I dedicated myself to create a new edition, kind of like a modern edition of the Shahnameh. I hired a translator, Dr. Ahmad Satri, and also to create an accessible translation of the epic. And plus, I got the basically inspiration from the poet Ferdowsi to create the illustrations. What Ferdowsi did, he collected and put together millennium-old epic tradition of Iranian plateaus into 60,000 heroic verses. So I thought I can do this with the visual tradition. So I collect and put together over 600 years of miniature and lithograph that influenced by Persian paintings from Mughal India to all the territory of Ottoman Empire, and create this a 600-page illustration that it's sort of retell the stories of.
Wow.
So these pieces that you see, it's over 8,000 pieces of miniature and lithograph from that period of time, from that location, that geography, put together, create these unique plots that some of them has actually never been illustrated before, like dreams and nightmares in Shahnameh. And this is briefly, the book was very successful. So based on that, we jump on and create a pop-up book off of those illustrations. I collaborated with Simon Arispe, who was a paper engineer, and we create this magnificent pop-up book, which is right now, unfortunately, out of print. And then also after that, I got introduction to the work of Lotte Reiniger, which I made the small puppet show. We performed in Asia Society, I think it was in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. And then and then if you remember, these are the puppets from that small puppet show that we did. It was 20 minutes.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was 2014. And after that, I got approached by the Metropolitan Museum and also Brooklyn Academy of Music to make something bigger. And then I got the introduction to the work of Larry Reed. And let me show you some of the stuff that this is actually Asia Society stage in 2014, I believe. This little show we actually perform in a lot of museums, art galleries, and cultural institutions, also a lot of libraries. It was very popular among nannies and kids in Brooklyn for a while. So I got to the introduction of the work of Larry Reed, and I learned the technique from him. And sort of I built Feathers of Fire based on his technique, but as a good student, I sort of add my own sort of accents into it. I introduced animation into the work, and I create this sort of like a animated live animation based on that technique. And I want to just briefly show you some of we have 160 puppets in Feathers of Fire, which all these puppets, the design of the puppet, it came from somewhere from a region of Iran, either pre-Islamic or after Islam. So everything you saw in Feathers of Fire, it came from somewhere historically. It was not just me sitting and say, okay, I like this, the character become this way. These has some kind of roots in the history.
For instance, you took these images and made them into characters in your puppetry. Is that right?
Yes. So these are like, for instance, coin from Sassanid era, which is like almost 1700 years ago, and that became like this character, which was the court astronomer, if you remember, or the famous the relief of the the Darius, which became kind of a mix with some Qajar.
From Persepolis, right?
Yes. And then they became mixed and became like the king. And this is like even like a boat. This is from the Phoenicia, which is Phoenician sort of the hand carved stone, which was that time was in service of the Achaemenid Empire sort of marine. So based on that, I create this boat or so on, from the miniatures, the creative faces. And these are like, for instance, even like a headband of Rudabe came from Zandiye era, which is almost like 200 and something years old in Iran. So every pieces that you see in this show, it comes from a different part of that region. And it was very intentional because I wanted to create something that looks Iranian, not Balinese, not Chinese, not French, not just looks like from that region. As you might know, actually shadow theater was a common genre among the people in the Middle East from the 10th to 13th century.
So for the kids, for the kids, can you explain what shadow puppets mean? How do they get the shadows? Where is the light?
Yeah, the light is, I'm going to show you after I finish it. I'm going to actually show behind the stage so you can see actually how we did. I'm going to just kind of rush through these things. We get to the fun part. These are the characters I designed, and this is the mask that people wearing. I learned this technique from Larry Reed, who developed this style in Bali in, I think, 90s with other puppeteers there. And they create this technique, which I found it very suitable for this character. So these are the masks that have been designed. And this is my original crew that you can see, people who are wearing this mask and acting. Now I'm going to show you the fun part, which is here. So let me show you the backstage. So what you saw is the audience POV. And now I'm going to show you like for almost a minute, the backstage.
It's for the best. That is where your fate is leading you. I am scared. I'll always be with you. Whenever you are in need of me, dear Zal, burn one of these feathers, and I will come to you swifter than the wind, my child. Now let me give you one last ride, this time to the embrace of your father.
See, this is what you saw. And this is what's happening in the back.
Wow.
We have multiple source of light, so you can actually cut from one light to another, so it feels like a movie. And these are all happen digitally with the person who's running the key.
Farewell, my beloved son.
Farewell, mother.
So I'm gonna move to another scene,
You must
briefly show
forgive
you
my unforgivable sin.
what's
I
happening.
abandoned you. I left you to die.
More than 100 years. The sea is fearsome.
Yeah, this is the character of Zal is coming to the light. So as you can see, the puppeteer moving the dragon in the back, and the actors respond to it.
Wow. It's amazing.
So I want to actually share with you the entire show, and then I will explain more that in the fast motion. This is like a 30 seconds, the entire show. This is really fun. Watch this.
Okay.
This is the before show. We get warm up, and here we go. Just pay attention to what's happening next to the lights. So many puppet comes and goes. Yep, that's the entire show.
It's incredible. I don't think that when I'm watching it, oh man, when I'm watching it from just the way we just saw it, you don't realize how much is going on backstage and how carefully you've had to think about it because it's all live.
Yeah, this is almost 2 years of work. We prepare all the materials almost for 18 months. And then we rehearse it for almost 3 months. And then we start performing it. Yeah, it's a lot of calculation going on because you have two sources of light and you're constantly cutting from this one to the other one. So you have to calculate where people are standing, how you move them out. And what's happened? There is something. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think it was disconnected. So it's a lot of calculation going on. It's very labor intensive and takes a lot of brain cells to put these shows together to make sure each scene can actually cut to the other scene. It's not like for instance, movie that a character goes from this and then leave the stage and you cut and the other one comes in. If you cut this way, if you want to come here, the character has to run the entire stage to here to come in. So you have to figure it out how move these things around and how mix the character with the animation and the puppets to make sure that it works together. And then yes, so this was one of the kind of contents that we created based on one of the stories from the Shahnameh. I'm just briefly going this and then I open up for the Q&A. After that, I create the audiobook of the Shahnameh, which is 12 hours of sound design and sound effect for those of the parents that would like to actually, instead of reading it, listening to Shahnameh. I sort of designed the sonic landscape of the Shahnameh for 12 hours. And we have 61 voices. This is very unique audio book experience. There is nothing like that in the market, and you can listen to it and be the judge. And we have Francis Ford Coppola actually read the introduction to sort of give the approval of this production. And also, I want to just give me a brief idea of what we are doing right now. Last 2 years, I'm involved in making another puppet show. If you thought Feathers of Fire was complicated, Feathers of Fire compared to Song of the North is like a picnic. Yeah, this show we have 280 puppets and exactly 208 animated backgrounds. And the characters are way more well developed, and we have also the storyline is way more sophisticated than Feathers of Fire. And this is a story based on the love story of Bijan and Maniget, and these are my inspirations from the show. And these are like, for instance, I want to give you one example. This is Shapur. That look at the throne and the face. These are gorgeous. You can actually go to Metropolitan Museum and see some of these. So based on this, for instance, I create this king. And even like the way that he sits down, even like details like his throne, it came from somewhere in the Persian art from like 1700 years ago. These are from the Ashkanid, which became inspiration. These are the demons in this new show, which is all inspired by the Indian lithographs. We have so many demons in this show. We have some of the dancers, and then also we as I said, we so far we cut over 280 puppets, and some of them being colored. This show is very vibrant and very active, and as I said, I learned so much from Feathers of Fire. I brought all this experience into the new show. We have a moving platform on stage. There's a lot of magical elements happening in this show, which I'm hoping start actually rehearsing by end of summer. We are opening at BAM, hopefully December 8th to 12th, and follow with the tour in Europe. These are some of you can actually learn more about this on the Kingorama website.
I have a question. Can I share the question?
Yes.
So the question is, why do you love live theater? Why do you like doing it? Because that means every time you present it, it's live, meaning there are actors and everyone's doing this. Can you tell us what's different about that from doing cinema?
Yes, it's. I think for me, first creating the live theater would be more accessible, and also it's more magical. It's very unique, and I think it's something that's honestly no one else is doing it. So I feel that by presenting Shahnameh's story in a very unique way, it actually makes it stand out, and people pay more attention to it. Having said that, I love to make animation, for instance, but that requires a lot of funding. Even for these, which was like a fraction of the animation, we had a very hard time to actually put it together. But having said that, beside the funding problems and dilemmas, creating the live action, it makes more intimate bond between the characters and the show and the audience. So I wanted to, because of these stories are unknown in America and mostly outside of the Iran, they're unknown. So I thought the shadow theater and this technique, it makes it more intimate and makes people more basically excited to see such a unique experience. Yeah.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes. So it means let me stop this altogether. So let me come back to you. I was going to show you one pop-up book, but
okay.
We can do it later. Let me stop I think I'm back. All right. I'm all yours.
Okay, so the next question was, who is your favorite hero and who is your scariest demon or monster?
Yeah, the scariest monster, it's coming on my next show. It's called Akwan the Demon. It's actually is a monster that they can disappear and appear all of a sudden. And he's huge and he can change his size from small to big. So that's Akwan. You can actually, if you look at the book, I think it's in chapter 11. The Akwan the Demon is very scary and it's actually a fun character. And he's all orange. It looks orange. And then my favorite hero, there's each character in the Book of King has a certain attraction for me. For instance, I like, of course, Rustam is very interesting because it starts from you follow characters of Rustam from the youth to became like 500 years old. And he makes so many mistakes when he's young, but by the time he grew up, he understands his mistake and he sort of correct himself. He tried to become a refined person and he make an effort to become a refined person. I really like his character. There is other character like Bijan, which is in my next show. He's a very pompous knight. He's young, hot-headed, but throughout the story, he learned to become humble, to understand to learning how to forgive, how to listen to the other people with the more experience. Yes, so there are plenty of it.
Well, it's great, and particularly to be able to share this now with Norouz coming up, and so many wonderful stories from the Shahnameh that are not commonly known here in the U.S. So I'm really excited about the next show as well as the one we've just seen.
Yeah. Yes, that's absolutely right. That's what I'm putting this effort last. Almost 12 years. I dedicated my life into bringing these stories to the mass audience. In fact, let me share you a glimpse of another pop-up book, which is the Seventh Trial of Rustam, which let me see if I can share it with you.
Share, yeah.
One particular. I don't know why I cannot share it. Advanced option. It was.
Well, while we're waiting, perhaps Oscar can help you with the screen share.
Yeah.
I know that some kids, yes.
Yes. Tell me if there is a question, I'll be happy to answer.
Okay. One more question is, should kids think about doing stories with puppets?
Oh yes, puppet is so attractive and it's fun and and especially shadow puppets. There is a mystery in shadows that attract everyone. So because it's not just you're looking at something that is in front of you, you're looking at the shadow and the shade of the objects. So it's you open up your imagination and you make your own interpretation of what's going on. So we should explore that because also you can actually reach out to more audience, Do
you have a puppet there?
Yes, I have actually brought a few of them here.
Oh, wow.
Let me actually go.
Wow, what are they made from?
Yeah, these particular one is made with a kind of a paper that has a mixture of plastic in it. So as you can see, and
you have to carve it, right?
And then you're carving it, and then you add colors in the middle of it. And also here I add fabrics. You see, it's a fabric.
So the light goes through that, and then on the screen you see the puppet.
Yes. So the light comes basically here, the shadows, and then you go to the screen. Or the one you saw earlier, this is one of the court Wazirs. They come and make a test Zal for his intelligence. Yeah, these are one of those.
They're so wonderful, and even just holding it up like this, we can sort of see how we can see through it and part of it, and then imagine what it feels like to see a shadow. You can make it big or small, right?
Yes. depends on how you far away from the source of light. You can make it big or small. If you have actually the iPhone or the mobile device, they have a best source of light because you need to have a one single source of light. Otherwise, your shadow become fuzzy if you have few of them.
Okay, so you're saying that with some cardboard and fabric and an iPhone, we
Yes,
can make their own shadow puppets.
Yes, with some colors, you can do. It's all about dedication and disciplines. When you spend times on these, you can make it happen. And we have 160 puppets like this.
Well, I'm sorry, our time is coming to an end, but I really am excited about your next puppet.
Yes, that's Song of the North.
Look at this.
Yes, let me show you this. This is some of the puppets from the Song of the North.
Wow.
Yeah, these are look at this. This is like, for instance, we have at the beginning, you have an Armenian delegate coming to the court. So all the design based on kind of that region. Or this lady. Oh, this is Akwan, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Akwan is black and white here, and then we put the color. See how we come?
Wow.
That's and this one is the new pop-up book. Is gonna hopefully, we're gonna start sort of announcing it. It's a 7th trial of Rustam, which goes through the adventure of Rustam, became a real knight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to end. Good. That's just what I was going to ask you. If people want to know more, they go to Kingorama.
Yeah, Kingorama is the home for all the Shahnameh project content and what activities.
Well, it's very exciting, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And your whole team, because I can see how much work this really.
Yes. These are group efforts. It's not just one person.
Yes, and it's so fitting that we are celebrating Norouz and the coming of the spring today with your wonderful performance.
Thank you.
Your generosity, and we all hope to see you at BAM.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed that we will see this live. We've gone through quite a long time, so the idea of spring is more important than ever this year.
Yes, it is.
All of you, stay safe and stay creative, and happy Norouz.
Happy Norouz.
Thank you again so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And we'll see you all again soon here at the Asia Society. Thank you.